Good morning, how you doing? Duff here. First time you've been in this perspective in my Model Y long range. I haven't had you inside the cabin on one of these ride-alongs since I bought the car, which is kind of crazy. Crazy, not crazy, I guess, because you know the car's it's just been doing what I've loved to or what I've come to love about Teslas. It's just a great mode of transportation. I haven't had a whole lot of things to complain about, but today there is one thing that I wanted to talk about. One negative that I've noticed with the car, and at first I kind of thought that this behavior was related to this car not having the radar anymore. Tesla, if you don't know, Tesla has made the decision to remove radar from all of its vehicles going forward, which was part of the system that was used for for Autopilot. It would sense distance using the radar unit in the front bumper. That's no longer the case. Tesla, in a car like this, and I think they're eventually going to go to this with all cars, even if they have radar, it's using a vision-only version of Autopilot, meaning it's only using the cameras in the car to do Autopilot. And I thought changing behavior in Autopilot I was seeing was related to that. All right, so let's engage Autopilot here and see if we can maybe catch any real world examples of this. Man, it's hard to talk in the morning. I got a runny nose, making it tough. Thank God for editing. What the hell? One of the annoying things when you don't have full self-driving is, there's no longer automatic lane changes. So you turn on your turn signal, start to turn, and it disengages auto steer, and then you have to re-enable it when you change lanes. A minor thing, but a slight annoyance. So anyways, what has been my general feeling since I've gotten the long-range Model Y is Autopilot is behaving worse. It's the two main things that I've noticed, and other people have talked about this as well, is phantom braking, where it's braking not only if there's nothing around, but if it's braking in situations that it just shouldn't. The example I gave a couple weeks ago was on this drive. It's 3 lanes both ways. In certain spots, there's a center lane where cars can wait to turn onto the main highway. And multiple times, I've gone past cars that are in that center spot of the road at a dead stop, and the car will slam on the brakes. I mean, these cars are not moving, but all of a sudden Autopilot identifies it as a potential issue, jams on the brakes. And the one time, I had someone following me behind relatively close, and it was nothing happened, but it's a potentially dangerous situation for sure. If someone's not paying attention, that there's a recipe for a rear end. So it's really been annoying. The other thing I've been noticing is the braking behavior, and this has always been an issue to a degree, but it seems worse than ever, where the car seems tone deaf to stopped traffic in front of you. It just is charging into stopped traffic, and then last second it slams on the brakes by itself, and it's pulling you out of the seat. It's really not doing a good job in certain situations of bringing you to a controlled stop that doesn't make you feel like you're on the verge of smashing into the cars in front of you. It's really annoying. I've even had situations where I've had Autopilot on, and it's waited so long to start braking that the red alarm started coming on and the siren was going on, like, hey, potential impact. Well, the Autopilot's in charge. You're supposed to be able to react to these things accordingly. That's the whole concept behind Autopilot and full self-driving, right? So it's been happening a lot. It's been happening to the point where I find myself using Autopilot less and less because it's annoying. I feel like I can't trust it to not do things that potentially could cause other drivers to, have an incident with me potentially. If I was driving behind someone and for out of the blue the brakes are smashed, I would get annoyed, and I wouldn't blame you for being annoyed with me. So I don't know, man. It's really been frustrating lately. That's the only thing that's been frustrating me, but it is definitely frustrating. And like I said, I thought originally it was something to do with my car just being vision only, but I watched Dirty Tesla's video from yesterday, I guess, and evidently he's been reporting some issues with the latest version of the full self-driving beta, phantom braking being one of the issues there. And I had mentioned, some of my experiences with Autopilot being buggy and apparently not as trustworthy as I once felt it was. And I had a number of other people that commented on my comment saying, hey, it's not just you. I have a car that has the radar still in it, and we're seeing the same thing. Just basically Autopilot performing worse than it has in the past. And that isn't usually the direction that you want to be going, right? With all the data that's been collected from all the vehicles over the years, Autopilot and full self-driving, things should be getting better at this point. They should not be getting worse. Like I mentioned, otherwise the car has been great. I'm really digging the white interior. I'm digging the bigger battery. It's nice to have considerably more range. And the dual motors. The car is noticeably faster than my single motor Model 3 and Model Y SR Plus that I had, or SR. Definitely noticeable. If I ever find myself having some discretionary income that I don't mind blowing, I might even consider getting the $2,000 speed boost to knock a half second off the 0 to 60 time. Although this car is already super fast. Fastest car I've ever owned, for sure. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna let the camera roll and stay in Autopilot as much as possible. I want to see if I can catch any examples of some of the behavior that I'm talking about, and we'll check back in at the end here. Whenever you engage Autopilot or full self-driving, you always get a nag on the screen that says make sure your hand's on the steering wheel. Well, what they should also be saying is make sure that your foot is near the accelerator, because that's basically, when a phantom brakes, you just tap on the gas and it'll stop it. So yeah, you really need to keep your foot resting right above the accelerator to address those kind of issues. So this area here that we just passed, this is the kind of spot I'm talking about, where cars will be waiting to turn, and the brakes have been applied incorrectly in that situation. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but I no longer see, and maybe you only see this with full self-driving now, I no longer see oncoming traffic. It used to be that in the visualizations you would see traffic coming the other direction. I have not seen that for a long time. See, this kind of stop, the car typically does okay. Where everybody is rolling to a stop, it handles that situation fine. But it seems its ability to judge speed and distance when the vehicles are in front of you stopped is what seems to be the biggest issue. I'm actually going to be taking the car to Texas for Thanksgiving. I'm going to be doing, it'll be the longest, well, it'll be the longest road trip I've done in this car for sure. I took my Model 3 to Pennsylvania, which is 1,200 miles. Going to be going to the Dallas, Texas area. I think it's slightly less, but it's close. So it's going to be a pretty good haul. Going to do it over 2 days, right? Doing the majority of the travel on Thanksgiving itself, so that should be interesting for sure. And so far we haven't had any of those scenarios that I've been experiencing. Hopefully we run into one. Or maybe hopefully not, I don't know. What do you think? But I have to tell you guys, you know, I've seen a lot of the full self-driving beta videos, and I still am not seeing enough to make me want to pay for it. I mean, it's too glitchy. In some situations it's too dangerous. Some situations it's too conservative. You know, it's a fun little magic trick to have your car drive itself, but it doesn't seem practical enough to use on a regular basis. I always hear Dirty Tesla talking about disengaging full self-driving because he's annoying other drivers. And not only is it going to annoy other drivers, it's going to annoy you after a short while. You know, when you see the car doing things that you would not do. So I think Tesla has a pretty big challenge on their hands. So when you don't have full self-driving, you turn the turn signal on, the slightest bump on the steering wheel will disengage the steering. Change lanes, then put it back on. Auto steer temporarily unavailable. Looks like it's available now. There we go. Back in autopilot. The heck? Alright. There's I saw police lights up ahead. Right lane's closed, so cars will be merging over this way. Let's let auto steer and autopilot decide how nice it's going to be. Let's see if autopilot is polite or not polite when it comes to letting other motorists merge in. Okay, I'm going to stop and let this guy go. I didn't let autopilot decide. I guess I should mention what version of software I'm on here. 10.2. 2021 32.21. That is what we are running. Okay, right there was an odd break. That was it's almost like it thought that this truck was coming over in our lane or something. I just want to be clear, I realize that this is a very fine line to walk. You know, adequate safety versus, you know, more human feeling driving behavior. It's a very fine line to walk, and it just feels like at this point Tesla is erring more on the side of caution, which I guess is okay, but when that can have a domino effect of actually causing a dangerous situation for someone else when this weird braking occurs, it's a catch-22, you know. You want to be cautious, of course, but you want to not do things unexpected for other drivers as well. All right, less than a mile from work at this point. My car has cleared the lane, and the Tesla, I mean, it's always done that. I've always noticed that autopilot behavior. When a car exits the lane, the Tesla appears to brake more than it needs to in that situation. Again, I guess being overly cautious. And we are now in a turning lane quagmire. So that's going to really wrap up the autopilot. And I was probably running at 90% of the commute. And, you know, other than the little braking thing back there, I didn't really run into the scenarios that I described. So unfortunately, I didn't get to capture it on video, but trust me, it happens. It definitely happens. So if you guys found this video interesting, please give it a big thumbs up. If this is your first time visiting the channel, look at that scooter. This is your first time visiting the channel, please consider subscribing. If you're going to subscribe, you can hit the notify bell. That is over there somewhere. Feel free to leave your comments, suggestions, ideas, and thoughts below. My channel also does have membership. There's a bunch of perks for membership. Here's our current members. Last time I checked, there was 9 members, and a bunch of perks you can get. Just hit the join button. You can read about the perks that you get from being a member. So guys, that's all I have for now. I hope you have a great day. Until next time, Duffman out. Guess I should take the camera off the roof. That might look a little weird, right?